Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and in this video where we talk again about Linux, because a lot of you have been asking some questions, it's going to be a two-part. First, answering the most, probably one of the questions I hear all the time, and the comments that I see all the time. Is it true that Linux is much safer than Windows? This is a question that is very relative because security has two parts. It has the part of the user, and it has the part of how popular an operating system is. Windows is like close to 90% of all the operating systems for desktop PCs and for laptops. What that means is it is the one that will be attacked the most because of that fact that it's the most popular. Meaning Linux is technically safer because there are less hackers and bad guys that want to attack Linux because it's a small market. It's kind of the same with Mac. The reason why a Mac is often thought of being safer is simply numbers. Although that's changing fast for Apple products. A lot of viruses are attacking Mac OS now. And there are viruses that attack Linux. So that question comes to one thing, very simple. Linux is technically safer because of its small number, but not because of anything else. If Linux, let's put it in a different way, if Linux would be 90% of the world today, Linux would be plagued with, people trying to send malware, ransomware, and so on, and everybody would be ranting at Linux for security and saying that, Windows would be safe because it's a small number. It's really a question of numbers and nothing else. As, of course, a lot of fans of Linux will come here and say, well, you're wrong. No, I'm not. Security is the same on all the platforms, and it's really a question of numbers more than anything else. There are as many security flaws fixed in all the distros of Linux every month than there is in Windows and Mac and so on. Now, the user is really the security most part, and keeping everything up to date is what it is. And for the rest, whatever you use, a Linux distro or Windows or Mac, it's up to you to stay safe, and it's really as basic as that. What use can I have to Linux? What about, okay, I don't want necessarily to have my main PC on Linux or try it here, but is there something that Linux could actually be useful for? And I always say, if you have, a new PC, for example, with Windows, well, that other PC that, is older, maybe you've changed it because it was slower or for other reasons, if it still works, one of the things that I often tell everybody is, that older PC, why not transform it into a Linux machine? You'll have the Linux environment, you'll see and get acquainted with it. And also on older hardware, there's a lot of Linux distros that are much lighter than Windows that will actually maybe give a second life to a PC that you found too slow, but that will run fine with the Linux distro. And I actually have 2 to 3 PCs here that are 7 or 8 years old that actually are running Linux distros for that reason. They work well with that, and it's a great way to continue using a PC in a different way. Also, one of the things that is nice is if your PC, example, a Windows 7 PC, that you're not moving to Windows 10 for some reason, well, maybe to stay safe because Windows 7 is not safe to use anymore, well, you could transform that machine into a Linux machine. It's an option that you have. It's free of charge. That also is another option. If you don't have any upgrade path to Windows for free, well, Linux is free, and you can check out the different distros that are available, and there's a lot of them. Some are specialized for PCs that are, older or that have less power. Some are, more modern and, of course, will require faster PCs to run. But most PCs will run some form of Linux distribution, and it's up to you to just see which ones that you like. And what is really cool is every Linux distribution out there is has a live CD option, meaning you can put it on a DVD, you can put it on a USB thumb drive, boot with it, test it out, and see if you like it or not before going into that big install phase, if you want. So that's pretty much what I have to say about Linux and the three-part. If you have questions, there are things you want to know more about, we of course can talk about it. Like I said here, it's mostly dedicated to Windows, but it's in a bigger picture, it's also dedicated to computers in general, which means we can talk about other operating systems also, and that is a possibility. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.